Now, Ruslan, you had gotten censored. Well, not censored, but
you got blocked,
you
right?
got blocked from posting on your live, right?
I got suspended for covering the Capitol, and what I think happened was I covered the Capitol, and then someone from the MAGA crowd, I think,
you.
I think so, yeah. And then so they took the video down, and I filed an appeal. And if you lose an appeal, a community strike, I think it gets escalated. I think it gets escalated to a strike. So I think that's what happened and triggered it. So it's definitely trash, and I think it was unwarranted. I had been in contact with the people on YouTube. The tough part is you just don't know if it's a human watching this stuff or not. But I kept asking, like, what did I do? And they were like, scamming voter fraud. And I was like, I don't believe that there was that. I don't promote that. And I'm not on that. I did videos condemning that. And so I think because I had that Trump clip of like, you're very special people. You're very special. I think that is what did me in. Yeah.
Impression, right.
Now, was that your first strike or was that like your second strike? Like
that was my first official strike. The only other thing I had was a warning. I was doing Fan Love Friday, and I had a small clip of the game on. Like the finals, the NBA finals was on my screen, and I was just like keeping an eye on the score. But I got a copyright community thing for that, and then that was just a warning. But I didn't fight it because I was like, well, they were right. Like I did have the game up, you know what I mean? Even though it wasn't like pirating the game, because we were reviewing music and I had it up. But so I didn't fight that. I didn't try to appeal that. This one I tried to appeal. But it looks like it'll be lifted in April 14th. The strike should be lifted, and I should be good. Yeah.
Nice. Michael says YouTube implemented thousands more humans watching and verifying after last year. I worked with Google indirectly up until last year, and I can verify this.
Hey, Michael, maybe you can tap in with some of your folks at Google and help your boy out. Lift that daggone strike, man.
For real. YouTube got secret shoppers. Something, you know?
What they give you, like 3 strikes and you're out, or how many strikes?
First one is 7-day suspension. Second one is a 2-week suspension, and I think the third one is you're out. But after 90 days, it gets lifted, and it's all good.
So you're back in business.
You're back again.
Oh, okay.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you start over at the end of the 90 days. So for me,
okay.
So I should be fine. So I'm just, not trying to be too wild.
Come on our channel.
Hey, there you go.
Talk about it over here.
You hit him with the Suge Knight.
That's crazy.
Man. So Ruslan, how'd you get into YouTubing or being a YouTuber? Like what got you started? What motivated you? Like, hey, I want to focus on this.
He said YouTubing. Sound like he about to hit the water. like
I did not. I wasn't able to fully express myself just through music. And I have a background in ministry and in teaching and in technology, and music just, it's very difficult to like make a song about my debt-free journey. It's very difficult to make a song about like health and physical. Like
D1 did it.
Yeah. No comment. No. And
hey,
so
man,
with that,
I got him on the show.
Yeah. So with that, it did get him on the show. That's a fact. So with that, I did not want to just do YouTube type content. That I didn't want to do music content that couldn't touch on these things in a cool way. And so that's why I got into YouTube initially, was just kind of as like an outlet. And it kind of evolved and evolved and evolved and evolved and evolved, and then finally landed in this current format that I'm in, where I live stream, and then I kind of mastered the YouTube editor. That happened after the lockdowns, because I just kind of had extra time on my hands, and I didn't want to like put out any music. And I was like, I've had this idea of like reacting to current events and tying it into scripture and chopping them down, taking a long stream, chopping it down into shorter things and having dialogue. And then like, it just kind of worked out because people's setup got nicer. I mean, people's home setup got nicer and nicer. And then I was able to do more interviews, and it just all like worked on top of each other. And then once the numbers really started snowballing, then I was like, okay, like this is dope, and it's fun, and it doesn't require a ton of time, and it allows me to build community, and then like I could potentially take the revenue from it and put it back into other things that I'm also passionate about. And so it's been more of a year of like, let me just focus on this, because I've never just spent a year focusing on one thing. I've always gone to school and worked a job and done music, or worked a job and done music, or done music and done YouTube, or done music and done a label. And it's too many. It's always been too many things. So I'm like, you know what? Let me not try to force any music out. Let me not try to overdo it. Let me just focus on just YouTube. And that's kind of what I've been doing for a season. I got music, but I'm not really that inspired to put it out. And I got a baby on the way, so I'm really trying to do less.
Hey, congrats.
Wow, congrats.
Thanks, man. Yeah, my wife is due April 4th, so baby number 2.
Yeah,
coming up. And so yeah, man. So it's just it was kind of organic, but then I feel like I tapped into this kind of new way of creating, of going live, chopping it down right inside of YouTube, not having to pass files back and forth, not having to edit videos. And it's been super dope. And I think it's a system we're going to help other people, scale their content. So it's not just something that I could benefit from, but I haven't seen anybody else do it the way I do it, in terms of like one long stream and then chop it into 5 or 6 different individual clips, and then set all those to upload, and then drop, 3 to 7 videos a day. I think that's something new, and I'm like excited to share that with people. So me and Zach are working on like a course, like a freemium course for this whole system that we've developed.
Nice.
Yeah, you took off too. Like, when did you officially start doing the lives?
When did I officially start doing the lives? Like on a regular basis, I think in like, I want to say in like May. Prior to that, I was doing more interviews. Yeah. May. And I think one of the first videos that took off was the Bethel video. I did this video on like Bethel and the Wizard. And my man Steve Ross was like, people say, we say, nah, Bethel's not into wizardry. And then Bethel steps on stage with a Gandalf sword and does, in quotes, Lord of the Rings. And I was like, what? He's like, look it up. So I looked it up, and I like instantly went and reacted to it. And it just like totally popped off.
Oh,
yeah. And so
how many subs were you at that time? Do you remember?
Gosh, maybe 20K, maybe 15K, something like that. Like I had already been doing stuff fairly regular, but it was about 15K. My mistake was that I didn't go multiple videos earlier. I could have done multiple videos earlier, because I was doing interviews all the time, and I was traveling, and I'd pump out a bunch of interviews, chop them into shorter clips. And I could have went like, I'd say 2019, I could have went to like, 3-4 videos a day, and people are like, that's too many videos. And it's like, no, that's actually the right amount of videos, because you have something for everybody. And so I approach my YouTube more of like a network and less like a channel, meaning that there's going to be different stuff I cover. There's going to be like Bible studies, there's going to be current events, there's going to be, interviews, there's going to be a wide spectrum. And so people see the stuff they actually want to see. They'll see the stuff that they're into. So if you guys aren't into politics, you're probably not going to see any of my political videos, right? But if you're into, I don't know,
CHH or something.
CHH, you're going to see every single of my videos with CHH. So it's fun.
Yeah, that's dope. Your subscribers went on a Tesla run and doubled, huh? More than
doubled. I think we're about to crack 56,000 today, and so I'm growing by.
I got that stimmy growth.
Between 300 and 500 subscribers a day, I think is what I'm growing at right now.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but it's all in finding your pocket. Like once you find your pocket and like what you want to talk about, then you just got to make a ton of video. And then once you make a ton of video and you find, and again, current events, like popular things that are going on is the best thing to tie it into. And there's a way to do it where I feel like it's tasteful, meaning like, there's a way to do it where it's not gossipy and slanderous. You know what I mean? Like there's a way to do it where like this video could turn into 4 or 5 videos by you guys just going into the YouTube editor, grabbing the intro, trimming everything besides the intro, grabbing the outro, and then do part 1 of like Ruslan and That's Not Christian, react to lecrae, white supremacy statement. Boom. That's one video. Second video, third video, 5, and this could turn into 6, 7 videos. And you could just literally drop 1 video drops a week. And now there's at least 1 video coming out a week. That doesn't require that much effort. We're literally talking like an extra 40 minutes of work.
Super easy.
Yeah,
Super
I wrapped
cool.
my interview with AI, the anomaly. I left
Yep.
the long stream up, and then I got 3 other videos that I trimmed from the long stream. And so now I have a total of 4 videos with her. So I already have 3 videos that just need thumbnails that I
Wow.
could drop tonight, that I could drop tomorrow, that I
He's
could
dropping
spread out.
game right now for free, y'all. Make sure you
We
hit
getting
his
that game.
Patreon. Yeah, make sure you hit his Patreon.
No,
Yeah, I
but I
was
mean,
just
we,
showing you
we
guys
definitely
yesterday
appreciate
the
you, man,
editor.
Ruslan, and what you're doing for the culture, and being that you came from CHH and you still are involved in CHH, but just, you know, and I know sometimes even us, we don't like to be labeled like the CHH podcast or the CHH YouTubers or whatever. But, you know, just being around that culture and being around, you know, other believers, man, we appreciate everything you're doing, man.
I think the dope part about what you guys are doing is you're curating and you're talking about related topics, but I feel like you guys can do some stuff that's a bit broader, like the conversation we had today, and that'll funnel people into the rest of your content.
Yeah.
Meaning that, so for me, it's less about like CHH, even though I still interview CHH artists, and more about like my own music Patreon community. So people come in because there was some video they saw, and then they'll show up on a Friday music review and then get exposed to like a dozen artists they'd never heard of. All these artists are under 5,000 followers, and it's actually building multiple careers, right? Because now you're hitting somebody with content, but you're also giving them music to ride to, right? So you're giving them stuff to think about, but now there's music to work out to, music to ride to. That's actually powerful if you think about it. Like, think about that from a cultural standpoint and the value of that. Like, boom, we're going to give you a podcast in long form. We're going to give you short YouTube videos, and we're going to give you dope music that you should be up on. You know what I mean? I think y'all got the same in right now because you guys are so immersed in the culture. You guys are up on stuff. I'm on your channel. Y'all got dating on here. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of really, really dope stuff. I would just keep chopping down these videos. Like, I see y'all got a couple short videos with dating. Like, that's fire. So I think, and then the thumbnails, that was the biggest thing that I did wrong, bro, was the thumbnails. Like, the thumbnails, I didn't want to do thumbnails. People pull me to the side. I was at a conference. vidIQ was like, listen, bro, you just need to do your thumbnails. Sean Cano from Think Media, million subscribers, 7 figures. Bro, just do thumbnails. Stop being lazy.
You know what's crazy? What's crazy is that so Mr. Beast, I'm not sure, you're probably familiar with Mr. Beast, right?
Of course.
So he was on Clubhouse, I think the night before, and one of the things that he said, and I wrote it down, it says that they make the thumbnail and they have the title before they even make the video.
Absolutely. That's step
Which
1.
is wild.
Always step 1 is get your thumbnail first. So I have my thumbnail set up now. This is some more free game. I know you guys are using StreamYard. I have my thumbnail. I have a template set up inside of OBS with different color schemes, different like old gradient overlays for where I'm going to place my font, sometimes next to my face, sometimes above me. And that's step 1. I sit down, make the thumbnail, make it interesting. There's a format for thumbnails. You always want to have eyes in your thumbnails. Always want to look right into the camera. And so I do thumbnail first, and the word on the words on the thumbnail should be no more than 4 words, and they should be 4 different words than in the title, right? Wow. So more than 4 words different in the title, and yeah, man. And so yes, absolutely, thumbnails always first. You guys are on? That's switch the conversation, but are y'all on Clubhouse a whole lot?
I mean, I've been dabbling with it only because a few, like Sean, he's been on some, what do they call it, panel or I don't know, whatever they call it. Elon, Mr. Beast, obviously. So I felt like these other YouTube creators. What's this other guy? Daryl Evans. Him as well. So I try to tune in and like listen to what they got to say. So
have you guys has anybody looked into hooking up like a full-on audio podcast setup into Clubhouse?
So interesting you say that, because the one that Mr. Beast was on that I heard, they were doing a full-on podcast style everything.
That's
and hard. I was like, wow, we should be doing this, like taking advantage of it. So
I was just thinking about that, because I'm like, if I'm gonna be on Clubhouse, I got to do it different. You can't just be the same audio as everybody. Something got to be remarkable and cut through. So I was thinking about like, man, I got to figure out if I could get my Rodecaster Pro to go into my phone to do Clubhouse. That might just be that edge I'm looking for.
They're saying that isn't Facebook buying Clubhouse? Is that a
Oh,
rumor?
They're
I
not
didn't know
buying,
that.
they're copying. You know how it
they're
is.
copying like they do.
Oh,
Yeah.
they swagger jacking again.
Yeah. I mean, Twitter came out with their version of a Clubhouse. It's beta for some people, so I don't know. Maybe Ruslan got it, but yeah. So they started with that too. So it's always the wave when it comes to something new and fresh. Everybody's going to the platform start to try to adopt it.
Yeah.
Dope, man.
Yeah.
Listen, guys, I like your guys' stuff. Like your clips on Instagram, I think are fire. I think you guys got
Wow,
a dope
appreciate that.
personality, like a wide spectrum of views. I think you guys are positioned to grow, and
Yeah.
I think you guys, much like me, are. I get the vibe that y'all are a little afraid to do some things that you might perceive as cringy, but they're really just best practices. Like they were just best practices for YouTube. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think if you guys just dive in feet first and just be like, forget it. And then the opportunity becomes once y'all get popping, this channel popping, everybody could have their own spinoff channel and everybody could have their own, you know what I mean? Like get this popping. And then there's all kinds of other opportunities for everybody to get popping. Cause you guys got good personalities. You guys aren't sore on the eyes. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is super dope. I love the StreamYard thing. I'm always impressed with people who use StreamYard because I'm terrible at like bringing in comments. Like I can't bring a comment and then answer. I'm just so jealous when I see people do that. I'm like, it looks so clean. I don't do that.
Yeah,
Well, you're a one-man show.
Hard to get in on that though. We try to tap in with OBS, but OBS it's kind of difficult, like to connect everything together. Jimmy's really responsible for that, but we've been trying to work on that. But then we saw StreamYard and we were like, yo, this is dope. This saves us the time, the energy, and everything.
Yes.
Yeah. Even OBS has their own melon. And we tried it for a bit, and then when we canceled it or whatever, the CEO actually emailed Jimmy to ask him like feedback on it. And we gave him some feedback. So the feedback that we gave, they said they're gonna start to implement. So hopefully we'll see what happens with their software, which is cool. But another question I have for you, Ruslan, is I know probably a few years ago, back in the YouTube vlogging days, you happened to go to VaynerMedia. So I want to know, how was that? How was meeting D-Rock? Did you get a chance to meet Gary? And because I mean, I know he has like a full-on team that does everything practically for him, So how was that? What would you learn, and what you understood, I guess, about the internet world and social media?
I'd say the biggest practical takeaway, it still forms my hair. Still here, yeah. It formed a lot of my view, and it formed and it confirmed my view, which is if you're good at what you do, the majority of these people don't care if you're a Christian or not. Meaning that Gary V, D-Rock have showed me a ton of love. They've consistently used my music in their vlogs. One of Gary's biggest vlogs with Nipsey Hussle features one of my songs, right? Yeah. And so because sometimes we as Christians could just kind of get weird and like have this like persecution mentality and be like, everyone's out to get us, man. It's like, yo, if you're cool and you're down to earth and like you make fire music, like folks were, and it was weird because I remember D-Rock put the most Christian part of the song in this, like the most like Jesus heavy bar, like in the song. I was like, what? Like, this is weird. He didn't put the part where I shout out Gary V. He put the part where I talk about Jesus, which I thought was really interesting. And so showing me that, like experiencing that was just like, yo, it's not, don't stop viewing your faith as like this hindrance. Stop viewing your faith as this like roadblock to you building relationships. Right. And so there's that, the VaynerMedia experience is super dope. I mean, D-Rock is super dope. D-Rock grew up Christian, so that I think there's some favor there. Oh, wow, and I still stay in touch with him. And whenever I'm in New York, I tap in, and sometimes we hang out, sometimes we don't. I met Gary at a shoe launch. He did a shoe launch in LA, and so we met. For K-Swiss, yeah. So we met, briefly talked. He follows me on Instagram, which is super dope. He knows who I am, and he always, like, if I'm ever in if you guys ever see live and I'm in the same chat, like, he'll always shout me out. The one kicker with it is that he always mispronounces my name. That's the one thing. He'd be like, Ruslan kid, what's up, Ruslan kid, bro? We gotta hang out, man. I'm like, it's Ruslan, man. It's Ruslan, you know. So he's brought me into his lives before, and I'm just kind of like, oh man, like this is such a bummer. So the cool part with Gary is he knows exactly who I am. He follows me. You know, he's super cool. The bummer part is he just
up your name.
Yeah, and that's why I actually have the drop, like Bruce. I literally have that drop.
Wow.
People mispronouncing my name. Right. Here's one of my like, you know, virtual mentors, virtual heroes, who I'm like, yeah, and he's just like, Ruslan kid, what's up, Ruslan kid? I'm gonna bring you in a live stream. I'm coming to. I'm like, oh my gosh, but yeah, so he's super cool, man. And so that's the thing that I think, again, big idea is it's not about your faith being dangerous. And then I would also say the last thing is like, he talks about like finding your sweet spot a lot. And I didn't quite understood what that meant until I hit my sweet spot. And I'm finally in my sweet spot, and I'm getting better and better, and I'm building more and more momentum, and everything is growing. So many folks don't quite understand what that means. And I think that's the part that we need to like really think through. Like, what is that? How can we navigate people into that space where the content just becomes easy to make? And now I get what he means by I didn't make a piece of content till it was in my 30s, right? And if you're in your 20s, you probably just need to go grind and just not say anything. He's like, I literally had nothing to say to the world until I went and built my father's wine business from 3 million to 60 million or whatever that number was. So my approach with that is like, you got a lot of kids that want to be famous. You got a lot of kids that, but YouTube actually may not even be the platform for them, because as the internet is changing, YouTube is kind of aging. That like more of my older audience is on YouTube. So you may not even want to make YouTube content until you've gone through life and done some things and accomplished some things and had some heartache, and you know what I mean? And then you start getting into creating content, which in my opinion gives an advantage for guys in their 30s and older. I don't know all you guys' age, you know what I mean? But I'm 36. I'll be 37 at the end of the year on New Year's Eve. I think that's dope. And I didn't get that until it started to click, until I just kept trying and trying and trying. And people look at me and are like, yo, Ruslan, like your channel is exploding. It's like, y'all don't know that I'm on my
overnight success, right?
964th upload. I'm on my 964th upload.
It's been like 5 years, right? Something
yes.
Like that.
So I'm about to crack 1,000 uploads on video.
You know what? That's kind of leads into what this person asked. They said, what do you hope your efforts will turn into 30 years from now, or are you just moving as you're led?
Mainly like moving as I'm led. You know what I mean? Like,
oh no.
Yeah, I'm here. I don't have this like 30-year plan or this 10-year plan. I have some specific goals I'd like to accomplish, which is ultimately what I want to do is like mitigate my expenses to nothing, meaning like I don't have any bills, I don't have a mortgage, I don't have rent, I don't have, you know what I mean? I got solar panels, and I could just have like a burn rate of nothing. That is what I would like to do from a financial standpoint in the future. And I think YouTube is going to help me get there. And then from there, it's going to be more like, cool, can I plant churches? Can I put money behind churches? Like one of my favorite creators, Trey Van Camp, has a church in Phoenix. And then I found out that like his budget is $110,000 a year for the entire church. Right. Mm-hmm. And then I know someone else who's a creator, and he's able to use his money as a creator to fund another friend of mine church. And like, he gives that much to that church. Like imagine giving that amount annually to a church. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like how freaking amazing. So how amazing would it be if that once I'm in a spot, not once I'm in a spot, I give now, but especially to churches, but being in a spot where you can like, yo,
you can fund the whole church.
Yeah, like I got y'all. You need $250 a year. I got you. Like that gets you and your pastor paid and your building paid. I got it covered. Like that would be incredible, right? And I think that would be like my ultimate like move or my exit strategy, because I'm really not, despite what people think, like I'm really not trying to build a cult of personality. Like I'm not trying to be Christian Gary Vaynerchuk. Like that is not the objective. Like I want people in local churches. I want people to encounter Jesus. I want people to listen to my content and go do the same with their lives.